Hi, maybe many of you are right now moving from a remote mode of work to a face to face or maybe even to a hybrid mode of work. And today we're going to talk about exactly that. What is a hybrid work model and how can we be successful in them? My name is Max Quiroz from Max and Root Training, and I welcome you to this video. If you haven't done so, please click on the button and the subscribe button on our YouTube channel so that you are subscribed to our channel. Activate the notification bell so that you get notified whenever we upload any new videos and you're up to date in all the content that we are sharing with you in our channel. So today we're going to talk about 5 skills that are needed for successful hybrid work. Yes, there's 5 great skills that we need to develop in order to be successful in this kind of programs, in this return to a hybrid work model. So let's start talking about, first of all, defining what is hybrid work. What is a hybrid work model? And a hybrid work model is a mixture of face-to-face work and online or remote work. Both should be available in the model. And the ideal is that people can decide which mode they will be working from. People can decide to work remotely, or they decide to work face-to-face in the office. That's the idea. That's the ideal model. Or maybe they can move from one to the other depending on their needs. If today they are able to work remotely, they can do it remotely from home. Or if they must have a face-to-face meeting, then they go into a face-to-face or office modality or mode. Now, that's the ideal. However, many organizations define who is going to work offline, who is going to work online, who is going to work face-to-face. So it all depends on the organization. Now, the important thing about hybrid work models is that they support that balance that must exist between personal, family life, and work. What happens when we are in a face-to-face modality only, sometimes the work aspect of life is given more importance, and we neglect in a certain way our family or personal lives. So it's very important to have that balance, and hybrid work models help maintain that kind of balance. Additionally, it's been proven by different studies that hybrid work models increase efficiency and effectiveness, and they reduce costs. So that's some of the important things that we must know about hybrid work models. As always, there's advantages and challenges that we face with those hybrid work models. The first of the advantages is flexibility. Hybrid work models are flexible, both in space, location, and in time. People can move freely. There's a lot of flexibility. There's certain constraints, but it's much more flexible in terms of where can I work from, how long should I work, the attire that I will be wearing while I work, and that's an important thing. The second advantage that we must emphasize is that balance between personal life and work that sometimes gets more on the work side of the equation, and we neglect or forget about family and personal life. So hybrid models help us maintain that balance. Hybrid work models can be also attractive for future employees, because if they know that the organization has a hybrid work model in place, they can feel attracted to work there. So it's important to let people know about this. As I said before, hybrid work models have proven to increase efficiency and revenue, and that this is important because whenever we increase efficiency and revenue, companies can grow. And finally, hybrid work models reduce operation costs. Yes, there's no power that we have to pay in the offices. There's the office rent goes down. Many things are reduced. Personnel can be reduced also. So it's important to understand this, that hybrid work models can be beneficial to organizations. However, there's different challenges that we face when we work in a hybrid work model. The first one is that it's difficult that we have equal development for all the members of the organization. If we have some of them working remotely and some of them working face-to-face in the office, it's difficult to maintain that same level of development in the whole team, in the whole organization. So you have to plan for that. Workflows can be impacted by differences in schedules and hours that we work. When we're working remotely, sometimes we can work late at night. That's not recommended. Or we're not constrained by a 9 to 5 schedule. So we have to work out whenever we're working with different teams that they might have different timelines, different schedules. So it's very important that they know how everybody is working and how to coordinate this with others. Of course, one of the main challenges that hybrid work models face is cyber security. We're working a lot online. Maybe less than a couple of years ago when all this pandemic business started, but we're working online most of the time. So it's very important that we know that there are cyber risks that we must know and we must take care of. We will be talking about this later on. And finally, one of the biggest challenges that hybrid work models face is that people tend to feel isolated, and it's difficult for them to build significant relationships with the other members of the organization. Trust is difficult to build on a remote or hybrid model, and also a sense of belonging in the organization will be a little bit more difficult to develop in the members of the organization. So it's important that we consider these aspects whenever we're working in hybrid work models. And the first area where we can work and where we must work in order to be successful in a hybrid work model is technology and processes. And I know most of us have been working with technology for the last 2 years, but still it's a pain point for different kinds of organizations, for different kind of work. So it's very important that we define precisely how we will be working and which are the processes that we must be working remotely, face-to-face, offline, online, so that everything works out smoothly. That's something very important. Another thing that it's very, very important to handle is time management. As I was telling you before, whenever we're working offline, we tend to work later. We tend to forget about the schedule, so it must be taken care of. We must train the members of the organization in time management techniques and abilities. And finally, we must have policies. Who will communicate with who and how they will be doing it. Will it be through email? Should there be a Zoom call, or should there be a face-to-face meeting? All this must be established beforehand whenever we are returning to a hybrid work model. We don't want that which happened a few months ago when a CEO of a company dismissed 400 employees on a Zoom call. We don't want that. Everything must be clearly specified. Some things should be handled face to face, and some other things can be and will be handled through asynchronous communication or by email. The second big area where we will have to work is cybersecurity. Everybody has to develop this cybersecurity skills. First of all, how to be prevented against computer viruses, or malware or ransomware, and what should we do to be careful and not be infected by a computer virus or malware or ransomware. How we must protect confidential and sensitive information that is handled online. This is very, very important. This is a key issue when returning or when working on a remote model or a hybrid model. I know we've been doing this for the last 2 years, but we must emphasize, because when somebody is online and somebody is offline or in a face-to-face setting and they must communicate, there can be some kind of glitch there and sensitive information could be exposed. So employees must be trained on how to handle this kind of interactions. Another important aspect having to do with cybersecurity is how to use work devices in public places and shared spaces. In public spaces and in shared spaces. But we must emphasize that measures must be taken to secure those devices and that equipment so that information leaks are minimized whenever we're working that. And most of all, we must develop an awareness that we are in a connected world and all this information can be attacked by evil intentioned people. So we must be very careful. Now, if you want to learn how you can integrate many of these things and how you can train your team in this and many other aspects to have a successful return to a hybrid work environment, jump into a free discovery call with us. Click on the link that is on screen right now or the link that is in the description of this video, and join a select group of people that have worked with us and that have significantly increased the impact of their online programs after working with us. So join us now in a free discovery call. No commitment, no compromise, no sales. We want to help you use this and integrate all this into your return to online and hybrid work models. The next skill that we must develop in order for having a successful return to a hybrid model is communication skills. And we must learn how to communicate effectively between online and offline personnel. It's different how they demand different types of communication. So we must be prepared in order to communicate with those that are working remotely and those that are working in a face-to-face environment. So you must train the people to learn how to communicate in this environment. Something that seems so trivial, but it's so important. People must learn how to write effective emails so that we don't have any kind of misunderstandings whenever we're communicating through emails or instant messaging. So we have to train people how to do it effectively. Also, they must know what can be communicated in a face-to-face setting and what can be communicated via email. Sometimes if it's an urgent matter, maybe you must call a face-to-face meeting of the whole team and they'll work out the issue and they can return to remote work. But there's some aspects that you can send an email and wait until the other people or the other person reads it, and it's a synchronous communication. So you must define which aspects of communication should be synchronous and which should be asynchronous or can be asynchronous. So define that clearly. The next area where we must work with our team is team building and teamwork skills. I know teamwork and team building are of utmost importance even in a traditional organization. Well, in a hybrid model they are even more important than in a traditional organization. We must train people to work effectively between remote and face-to-face teams. If they're not coordinated, if they don't know how to work together, chaos will happen. And this is very, very important. We should work with them in collaboration issues and inclusion issues. Everybody is different. That's why we show this image here. Every member of the team is different, and we must be inclusive in our work policies. There must be some kind of etiquette on how to deal with remote interactions, what is accepted and what is not accepted, and you must set the line, establish precisely what will be accepted and what is not accepted, and you must stick to it whenever you need to do it. Those are important team building skills that you need to train in order to return to a successful hybrid work model. And finally, you must train people in leadership skills. Yes, I would think that hybrid work models, as any organization, be it traditional, hybrid, or remote, there must be great leadership in order for it to work. This is one of the most important aspects that you must develop before returning to a hybrid work model. People must learn how to connect or be able to connect remote workers with face-to-face workers or office workers, and how to help them work together in order for the organization to be effective, to be productive. And that's the main issue in leadership. That's the role of leaders. And if we want to go back into a successful hybrid work model, we must have strong leadership. We must be attentive and offer support and guidance to both office workers and remote workers so that they feel supported, they don't feel abandoned, and they know that we're working together as a team. And finally, we must eliminate that mentality that sometimes, or that attitude that sometimes appears when we are working with separate teams, the us versus them mentality or attitude. We must eliminate that, because that will appear, that will happen. We must learn how to lead in order to eliminate that kind of thinking and attitude. So those are the 5 big skill sets that you must work on in order to have a successful hybrid model, hybrid work model in your organization. If you want to know, as I was telling you before, how to integrate everything that we talked in this video, and many other things into your organizations through different types of courses, programs, and conferences, jump into a free discovery call with us. Click on the link that's on your screen or the link that is on the description and schedule a free discovery call. No commitment, no compromise. We will be just talking about how we can help you, because we really want to help you be successful in your return to a hybrid work model. We really hope this video is helpful for you. See you in the next one, and have a great day. Bye.